Gray marks are dim light. There is fresh water, as we're continuing the battle map description. There is fresh water flowing to the sea here. And currently, due to the effects of the battle, there's kind of an ice bridge that is frozen over one bank to the next. And that ice bridge is within the confines of this purpley blue. The green squiggles is brush. The brush could be cover, and itself is dim light because it's brush. If the shadow if there's shadow and brush, two dims make a dark. The trees are as tall as you see shadows. Now, there are things like branches. I don't have every branch there. If you can or want to do any sort of shenanigans with it or whatever, then, I mean, we'll just talk. You do know from the mushroom hunting prelude that things are flammable, which could include the shack. There's implied grass, kind of all in the normal white spaces here. There's no special movement restrictions or anything. In between the orange lines is a stone road, kind of a cobble road. Well, maybe more like flagstones. They're not curved and cobbled. That'll be too jarring. But you do have stone and earth, and you can see that it's broken up here, so that there's like stone chunks and segments and whatnot. Along the bank, and maybe even like in between the road and where it's flooded out, I mean, you could find stuff like moss or mud or whatever else. And then lastly, you have a bit of a charred section, which I don't know. It's cleared out for the most part. Besides the shadow coming off the remnants of the tree, and the tree burnt down, but it's definitely not in good shape. So you'll still have some shadow, but the brush is gone in the burnt patch if things go this far south, and I don't mean that with negativity or hit points. So aside from that, everything else is bright light except where it's dim, or where dimness covers has cover. It is dark. If you are underwater and it's shadowy, then I'm counting that as dark as well. Because if you're in the water, it'll be dim light because of sort of obscured water. And hey, we have a bright. Excellent. Are there any other questions about the battlefield? Okay. I have a question for you, Norallie, because you did summon a cloud that shot lightning down on Mr. Halvar. Is that still around, or did that dissipate?
Let me look at this real quick.
Have you been knocked knocked to zero since
Yes.
you cast it? Then yes, it's gone.
Okay.
Because it's concentration.
Well, the spell's concentration, but it is the cloud itself.
All right. And I have down the how much damage you've dealt to Mr. Halvar so far, and of course on your end, you have how many hit points you have, spell slots, etc. As we're picking up right where we left off, and that was going to be on Mr. Halvar's turn.
Oh boy!
Before we get completely into that, Bright is hiding inside the rubble of the house. Jacob is standing there, and sort of doing a stand and deliver here. And Celine, you're not mechanically flanking, but in old school terms, you're flanking. And then we have some others. Now, Mordecai, you're still paralyzed.
Yep. Nope, I'm out. I am 0 hit points.
Oh, you're 0 hit points. Okay, very good. I mean, not very good,
You're
but
unconscious.
you're very unconscious. And
As unconscious as a vampire can be.
Norallie is Norallie's current state is Norallie's current state?
Yeah, what is Norallie's current state?
You're conscious again? I know you're not paralyzed. You conquered that pretty quickly.
Yeah. No, yeah, you can't get that pretty
Should be
quickly.
fine.
Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we had anyone making death saving throws, did we?
Me.
You were making deaths. Okay.
Yes, I have succeeded twice.
All right. Very good. We'll see if you clawed up here. All right. Let me.
Yeah, no, only Mordecai's rolling death saves.
The rest are conscious, I think. Yeah.
I'm gonna get something in the background here real quick. All right. So Celine, you tried to affect the dragon, and
missed.
and it missed, or it didn't. The way things have been described, it's not necessarily that you missed, but as you go to try and attack, this black stringy hair that seems to be pouring out between the silver scales of Mr. Halvar sort of rushes out and blocks you from having your attacks land. And so with you having been a bit of a mosquito here on the backside of Mr. Halvar, he is going to ignore you for the moment, and is going to turn, look almost past you, Celine, but at a different angle, back to Norallie. And as that happens, Norallie, these fierce green eyes just stare back, glittering with an otherworldly light. 2 points of light in swirling darkness and glimmering silver scales. Norallie, what a waste of potential. You don't even know what you have. And yet you want to find your brother. Poor child. If you really want to help a poor brother. And Jacob, the head just cranes over, and to you, leans in close. Again, these eyes, these sparkling green and all too hauntingly familiar eyes stare at you. A brother, I will sacrifice. And I will begin a series of attacks against Jacob.
This is at plus what?
Each of these are going to be at a plus 13 to hit. So I have a 20 and a 16. After the 16. After the natural 16, I mean.
So,
Ding dong even lady.
hey, would it be alright if I use this, because you ended up asking me to roll an investigation earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Might I use this as the prompt?
Sure.
Okay. So it's at this point. Let me get slide into character when it's still quiet. It's at this point that Investigator Stillwater ends up finding himself with a moment of this thing, this monstrosity in front of him, trying to snarl and bite him, and as he ends up raising shield to end up he is holding off the beast at bay, and something familiar happens. Again, the hairs that seem to be growing out of this creature, this thing that calls him brother, well, seems to emanate from himself. And while not fully protecting him, perhaps a weaker version or something along those lines, but managed to rend the jaws open to end up allowing him to escape out from beneath them as it ends up proceeding. Still, he is wounded from the strike.
All right, and so you are this unique shield spell is going to well, describe how it manifests.
As the jaws end up coming down, as the claws end up falling upon him, he braces the shield in a way, and the claws start to end up biting in, and he wants to feel the resistance, but when he checks, what he sees are these hairs, these several smaller strands starting to wrap themselves around as though they were muscles let loose, pry open the jaws, pry away the claws, as though they're trying to keep it away from him. Though the confusion is left obvious on his face as he is unsure, as now it seems what happens with him is doing the same for this thing, Mr. Halvar.
All right, so it's going to be 19 points of piercing damage as the bite sinks in, but then this sinewy black hair seems to sprout out or manifest and is staving off, like almost like you being shoved into the thing's mouth with the two claws as it gets you, and it's holding
It's going to require some attention to detail, though it does provoke an idea. Now, if I understand this, I am still under the point of haste from Norallie's previous cast, yes? Fantastic.
And while you're so close to the mouth, Jacob, you feel like you start seeing a frost forming in the throat, and a very like a dry ice fog starts dripping almost like saliva from the jaws. Now, that being said, this is like a formation of the effects, but it's not happening right now. All right, so what is going to happen now is we go to the top of the initiative after Mr. Halvar is showing off in front of Norallie, almost taunting her, and as well to Jacob Stillwaters, playing with you like a cat with a mouse in some way. We come back to the top of the initiative, and that is going to be Norallie. Then Jacob, then Bright, if Fluffy Sheep is around.
I've been here.
Okay.
I've been here the whole time.
Okay, I don't see you on camera. Sorry. So if it's a roll 20 thing, then lost coffee for a second. Must be on my end.
No, he refreshed.
Okay.
We're all kind of refreshing a little bit.
Sure. I want to
All right.
refresh too, guys.
Hey, I'll look into video in a little bit. I'll cast Minor Illusion on roll 20.
I'm gonna run up to Mordecai
Okay.
because he needs to get up.
Okay.
I can't heal him, but no one can heal him unless we give him blood.
Yes.
I'm gonna take my small knife and cut my hand open.
All right.
I'm gonna just pour blood into his mouth.
All right. You're going to take 2 points of slashing damage. as you're just quickly. I mean, you're not going for a nice pinprick. You're not going for a wonderful embrace with the fangs. You are cutting and just trying to pour blood into his mouth. And so we can do this not necessarily as an action. You're willing to sacrifice some of your health and well-being to do this. So what I will do is I will give Mordecai some hit points. Otherwise, if you want to take your standard action to do something else, you may, or you could take your standard action and sort of take more damage, but you're forcing more blood into Mordecai's mouth. What would you like to do here?
I'm going to just take a standard action.
Cast a spell at Mr. Halvar, I guess?
Okay.
Yep.
Now, is haste concentration, or is that just a duration?
Haste is concentration.
Okay.
How did you cast haste?
I was standing next to Jacob and I just...
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
he
hurry
took
up.
off.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, no, because you haven't gone down since then, so that's fine.
But, I'm also... I guess I'm just gonna cast Lightning Bolt.
But we'll say that was an item interaction to draw your knife across your hand. You've started to use some of your movement, so you have a bonus action and a standard action. What are you doing? Lightning bolt, you said?
Yeah. if it'll pull up.
You might want to move 5 feet across then, so you don't hit Mordecai.
With
Shouldn't he move?
Mordecai being down and prone.
He's on the ground. I'm not gonna hit him.
Yeah, I'll say in this case with this setup, because he's grounded, and he's laying flat. Even though Norallie isn't the tallest drink of water, she can still kind of like stand over him and cast over him.
Okay.
I mean, I could literally step to the side.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Literally just step 5 feet to the side and shoot it straight at him.
All right,
That's fine.
you're gonna lightning bolt Mr. Halvar.
Yep. At 4th level.
All right. So what you have? You're casting a 4th level spell here, and it's lightning bolt. Can you describe what do you look like Storm from the X-Men? Like your hair lifts up, you get sparks on your horns, or?
Yep, I got sparks everywhere right now. My eyes are glowing, and we got sparks just jumping off me.
All right.
Just look at him and just forward. Just cast.
Are you going to throw wide the gates of chaos, or are you going to try and close them?
I'm going to try and close them because I don't want to get fireballed on top of...
Yeah, please no! Please no! Please no! Fireball sends it on self.
Okay.
Not right now. Not right now.
Okay, how much movement do I have left? I was,
I think you moved like
you
10
moved
feet or
20.
something like that, or
Yeah.
I don't know, it
Five.
wasn't too far.
You have
I'm gonna run back over here.
All right, now I need to make a save, and so
Okay.
this is going to be /roll 1 d20 plus 5.
Less than the 10.
All right.
Damn it. It'll be taking half, so it'll be
13.
18.
Wasted effort, Norallie.
13, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You have so much potential, and you refuse to let it flow. To see
Talking about the water magic.
effects.
How many hit points did I get?
2.
I think it's... Is it 2?
Just 2.
2.
Yeah, is it 2 or... Just
Just
adding
2
that you
points.
can-
Yeah, I was going to allow her to pump more blood in, but this was kind of a quick draw across a palm, and not like
So
a
it'll just be 2?
going deep into something. But 2 points gets him conscious.
Yeah.
So anything else for you, Norallie? Do you have any movement? Do you have a bonus action or something?
I do not have a bonus action, I don't think. So I'm good.
Okay. Jacob.
Yes, sir.
A lightning bolt just tore across the battlefield, seeming to tickle this monster. and it's standing there before you. Its maw is frosty and just has this fog pouring out of it.
I am going to use a disengage action as my haste action,
Okay.
and goading this thing that once was Mr. Halvar.
Mm-hmm.
We end up finding ourselves retreating. Jacob is starting to think of what has been manifesting, the key to the common denominator between himself and Mr. Halvar. And as a calculated risk, it's very evident that we are all going to die if we do not end up proceeding in any way right now. So it's going to be quite quick to end up performing a retreat towards the remains of what was once inside that wonderful bubble that Bright was so kind to end up creating.
Okay. I will count that as difficult terrain because it's a big pile of hair, and as cover if you want to dig into it. You can.
I will, and if allow me to double check my movement, but 15, so that would be 25, so I would 20, so yep, I should be able to gain to the center of it.
Oh yeah, easy. You have double movement.
Oh yeah, he's good.
Oh, you're hasting.
Yes. And it's at this point I am goading Mr. Halvar to end up approaching me, and in doing so, well, see what happens as I end up trying to end up getting his attention on me because he is about to breathe, and
All right, how would you like to get his attention besides running back and diving into a pile of sable hair?
Yeah. In the words of a great warrior who, upon facing death, certainly simply ended up saying to his opponent, "Go on! I can take it!"
All right, we'll see what happens as Bright. It is now Bright's turn, and you are inside some wreckage and rubble. Oh, I'm sorry. Was there something else?
Well, the thing was, is I only had used one action.
I'm sorry. Haste is.
I just want to be clear on
I kept thinking it was
something.
an attack, but it's another action, isn't it?
It's a special action that you
Yeah.
can do certain things with, yeah.
Yep.
If you use it for an attack, you just get one attack.
Yeah.
But you can do other things too.
But I can use it as a withdrawal. And
Yes, you can.
for my proper action at this point, I would like to invoke dodge.
Oh, so you're all right. You're diving in, cover, full defensive. All right, come at me,
Come
bro.
at me, bro, as the children say.
Delightful.
All right, so Bright, there you are. You've heard this interaction. Jacob really wants to taunt this frosty dragon. What are you doing?
Okay, so I didn't expect Jacob to do that, but it might be the best thing. So, okay, first thing, I want my gargoyle to attack.
Ah, yes, as represented by the lovely Peggy Sue.
It's a gargoyle that looks a lot like Piggy Sue. I guess it just happened that way when I called it up. So the attack, does it get both of its attacks?
It should.
I don't see why not.
Okay, so we'll do the bite first.
From what I understand, Las Vegas is being inundated by a swarm of Peggy Sues right now.
Well, grasshoppers are almost like crickets, but not quite.
Well, yeah,
They're
I'm
not-
sorry. That's
They're
true.
not as nice. Okay, so we'll do the bite first. 17, and then, oh.
Well, the 9 won't do anything. The 17, unfortunately, it goes to what, like claw or bite,
Yeah.
and as it does, it looks like it sunk its teeth in, but as it pulls back, and hair just seems to fall out of the thing's mouth, as the hairs that are kind of rippling over the silver body are still waving.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Okay, so now for Bright. guess the thing that she wants to do. No. Jacob changed what I was gonna do. I was gonna do what Jacob did.
There's plenty of room. You could just dive in, you know.
I don't think whatever he's doing is gonna take 2 people. So instead,
You have seen it's a cone that it emits, so if you kind of strafe at an angle, you might be able to get out of there if you think it's going to try breathing on Jacob.
I have lots of ideas. I just don't know which one is the best. Okay, so is any of this stuff around here, is it difficult terrain?
No, no, the sand isn't even really difficult terrain. It's just a different type of terrain. So it's dim light if you're in the shadow. Although for the collapsed portion, I'm going to say that there's really only like the first 5 feet closest to the rubble are still there, but all the ones on these here, actually I can draw on this freehand. Oh, hello. Let's do this. Oh, there we go. It's not quite erasing, but
It's okay.
there we go. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's no shadow. It's only shadow clinging to the edge of the rubble there, but the chimney in the front of the house is still casting that far out.
Okay, so are there any like gaps and indentations, any particular hollows or things in the sand?
Gaps. There's not really big sand dunes, but as I am kind of indicated, like there's some waves here. We can say there's like kind of some mounds of sand.
So what I want to do is dive into between a couple of mounds of sand, and then I want to use mold earth to pile a big pile of sand on top of me.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. So sure. So you could sort of like dive at the base of one of these things, and then
just pull it over on top of me. Yeah.
Sure.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'll be right back.
Okay. So you'll have to hold your breath, but
It's okay.
Are you okay with that? All right. Sure.
Yeah.
So, all right, Bright dives into the sand and just sort of quickly entombs herself. Just not Gara style, because that would end badly. Now, we move over, unless there's anything else from Bright to Mordecai.
I stand up.
Uh-oh.
I am bloody.
Yes, you are.
And just kind of standing there, looking bloody, kind of trying to pick myself up. I hate dragons. And I am going to cast Mask Cure Wounds. And let me just select the points.
Real quick, Mordecai. As you cast this spell, you feel a familiar tingle throughout your body. Now, you have an option. You can let the wild magic ride, or you can try and close the gate. But as you have you have Norallie's blood in you, you feel a bit of a tingle and you're casting magic.
Oh no!
What would you like to do?
No. Oh no! Oh god!
Manifest a fireball right on top of you. Why not?
Oh god!
Go for it.
That'll hit me!
I mean, statistically, you can also, there's other effects like healing people, so it's not always just a fireball.
No,
Or
I
you
just
can
don't
take
want it.
another action immediately.
Yeah. So
I think I'm gonna let it. I'm gonna let it go.
you're gonna let it go?
Sorry, Norallie, you're not getting a Mask Cure Wounds right now. It's Jacob.
All right.
Wright, Celine, and
Mordecai, I would like you. Go ahead and make your calculations here. But
Yeah.
when you're ready, I would like you to roll a 101-sided die, please.
D101.
A 100. Ooh, okay. So Jacob, Wright, Celine, and yourself, I'm guessing.
And myself. Yep.
17.
For 17 hit points.
All right. So, recover those hit points first, and then we're going to discover what is
To recover
happening.
some more hit points.
Please let me recover
With
my
a
points.
39, yeah, you regain 2d10 hit points. Mordecai, I want you to roll that, and everyone can regain those hit points with you, because this was a mass cure wounds, and the chaos magic is infused into the spell.
Gosh dang it.
Just-
Should have
Oh,
stood
yes.
next to Mordecai.
Oh yes.
And all of you feel this. I mean, you've spent time in well, I mean, Jacob hasn't, but I mean, for those of you in Flowerfield where you were exposed to this wild magic, you feel this invigoration. Although I don't know if you can target Bright because she's covered up, or does that go through?
No, you don't have
It
to
goes
be
through
able to
cover.
see.
Oh, okay.
It's just
Some spells are
6
weird like
creatures
that.
in range.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 creatures in range, yep.
All right. And so Mordecai, you are just this. All of you feel this like rush of blood, like it's almost like you're blushing. Just your body is invigorated extra, and it's super tingly. But hey,
The way
Mordecai.
that this manifests is it comes down as a cylinder of light
Okay,
absorbed into each person.
I love it. Anything else from you then, Mordecai?
Bonus action.
Okay.
Inspire Celine. With
Okay.
a bit of vocalization.
When this occurs, Mr. Halvar twists his neck back. Another one. Wait, from you? And a question, and a suspicious eye before Celine now steps up and does what Celine's gonna do.
It's now my turn, is it?
Height.
It is.
Wonderful. So as he does that, I'ma do it.
Inflict wounds.
Yep.
A 26 does indeed hit.
Yep. And as this thing happens, and Mordecai heals them, Celine feels this rush of energy, and with his vocalization, her resolve is steeled. And as soon as Mr. Halvar turns towards Mordecai, he's going to feel a little tap on his shoulder. As floating above Celine currently is a dark, almost demonic-looking shade of herself with these massive claws going. And she says in this distorted voice, "Wrong way." And the demonic shade is going to lay into Mr. Halvar with a level 5 inflict wounds. And not only that, as soon as the shade is done clawing into him, a rather large magical circle will appear underneath Mr. Halvar, and just for a second you'll see a very dark version of the flame strike that Celine used earlier, as I also invoke Channel Divinity, Touch of Death.
Touch of Death.
So, this is going to be 82 points of necrotic damage. Straight into the... As you just hear this raw, unbridled scream of power and rage. As Celine is calling forth the darkest depths of the power that she has access to make him die.
All right. And I'm sorry. So once more, it was what? It was 32. Then what was the 26? Was that on the higher? The higher
20,
cast?
26
cast.
is the base.
Okay.
32 is the higher cast. 25 is the touch of death. It's
Okay.
80. So 26 plus 32 plus 25 is 83 all up.
Noted. And you're hearing Norallie, you're hearing Mr. Halvar's voice. Not the dragon's voice, not this weird creature's voice. Mr. Almost like, you know, sometimes he has bad mornings and he wakes up and he just, my aching joints. But you're hearing just a scream of pain that sounds like it's coming from Mr. Halvar, and not whatever this thing is. Anything else, Celine?
Possibly. Let me just check something very quickly.
You would only have a bonus action at this point.
Yeah, that's why I'm checking something real quick. Okay. Okay, attack. Yeah. Alright, well then... I can't do anything.
Okay.
So that'll be me.
All right. We come back to Mr. Halvar, who suffers and
No, Touch of Death was only 25. Was only 25. It's 5 plus twice. Twice. Yeah. The motion that came from the inflict wounds.
Okay, I figured it out now. Okay. It was hard for me to see under all this sand.
and so as Mr. Halvar was looking back in the direction of where Bright was, just like the last little grains of sand were covering up the little bit of pink hair kind of coming out, and Jacob had retreated into the pile of hair, and so sort of from behind where he was facing, Celine just 1,000 years of pain just right into Mr. Halvar here, and Mr. Halvar just groans and roars, and as Mr. Halvar roars, just this cone of Arctic wind flies out of his mouth and is pasting everything in front of him here. I'm still on draw tool. Here we go. And just absolutely just ice everywhere. Now, Bright, you're buried. You're chilled. I'm not necessarily going to affect you with the breath weapon, but you're very cold. As this cold even is like seeping through. There's not damage, but just roleplay with it.
Okay.
And Jacob, a lot of this hair is both blown, but it looks like a very eldritch sculpture, as sea mist and hair and ice and all of this, like the humidity in the air was frozen, and you get this wedge sort of flowing back. This way, and it looks like a wind-blown head of hair, in a sense, as it's captured in ice, but it's all squiggly and frozen and giving off mist as well. And there's even some ice chunks that are now lapping up against the beach out here. I mean, whatever. There's some indication that they're there, but I'm not going to illustrate them or whatever. But Jacob, in the middle of this giant hairball, you remain absolutely fine. You're not uncomfortable. You take no damage, and you take no save. Or you don't need to make a save. You're gonna have to kind of find a way to wiggle through or kind of bust out of this icy aegis that had formed in front of you. This now frozen, wind-blown hair back from the mound. But you are untouched. Mr. Halvar doesn't seem to realize or recognize that, or if he does, he's being quiet about it, but he blows and then he turns. You can kind of see him through the wavy ice and everything that's in front of you. Turns to Mordecai and Celine. Now that one is taken care of, I think it's time to rid myself of you others. And while not breaking contact, not breaking melee contact with Celine, well, I don't know, maybe. Actually, yeah, you know what? Celine, if you want to get an AO, he's going to ignore you.
Oh, I'm taking an AO, alright.
And so is the gargoyle.
Yep, that's fine.
I'll take the gargoyle first. It'll probably be simpler. This will be a claw attack. Not that there's really any difference.
And I will be rolling the 1d10.
Yep, there's your
More than a 1, please. More than a 1. 24! There we go.
An 18 does not hit, or rather,
it's 24.
a 24.
Yeah, it's because I used the d10 from Mordecai inspiring me.
Oh, derp. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. 24. All right. So in that case, so the sunblade, swings down, and the hair wraps around it, and I mean, you're right by Mordecai. I know it's already been cast, but I mean, we could have a sort of alive Mordecai. What do you say? Like, you see Celine's sword comes down, it's wrapped, and the light is being extinguished by this black hair.
Well, I vocalized. I just made some notes.
Yeah.
I don't
do better.
Maybe
What do you want to say?
Maybe something like screaming to kill him.
Yeah.
All right.
Kill the dragon.
Mordecai screams at you, Celine, and your sunblade flares, cuts through the hair, and zoom, and takes a cut into the flank of Mr. Halvar.
Yep.
For how much damage?
It will be 11 radiant plus.
Okay.
Because I do get the divine strike off it once per turn. And which triggers an AOs. 4 points of necrotic damage, so 15 all up.
Okay.
It's just a boing.
The gargoyle it tries, and it's getting all caught up. Mr.
It's the
Halvar.
least useful gargoyle ever.
To be fair, we are fighting a dragon.
Mr. Halvar begins walking down, and not that it's necessarily hiding behind the tree, but Norallie, the neck just sort of cranes around, and again, these foreign eyes, these are definitely not Mr. Halvar's eyes. And while he has some aspects of Mr. Halvar in the terms of like the fins and even the hair look like his facial hair, it's just this alien entity. And come out wherever you are. Poor Norallie. Powerless. Convictionless Norallie.
Uh-oh.
That's okay.
And
Wrong. I'm only in here to tell you.
we have Norallie. The dragon breathed and moved. What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast darkness. So you can't see me.
Okay.
If you think that'll help.
Are you holding in the magic, or are you letting it go?
That's innate. Does innate trigger wild magic?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's innate darkness.
So I will let you infuse it with wild magic if you wish, but you do not have to roll for it.
I'm gonna go for the wild magic.
Roll a 101-sided die, please.
Like the second green zero on the roulette wheel. You don't want to roll that one.
All right, we have a 61. You cast darkness. For the next minute, you must shout when you speak.
And you have to roleplay that.
So do the best you can. I don't know if you have family sleeping, but I believe in you, Norallie. As the darkness does fill the this 15-foot radius around you. Now, as that happens, you can see those green eyes in the darkness, and the green eyes also seem to be able to fix onto you. I see you, Norallie. I know your tricks.
Is that a 15-foot? There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It would appear as if the eyes are piercing the darkness, even the magical darkness.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's probably got blindsight. Or something similarly as,
Yeah, this would be an eldritch
Over here
sight,
now.
probably. Or from, as Bray would say it.
Yes. All right.
Devil side lets you see, through magical darkness.
So even as you go to run
Dragon
away,
levels.
I loved playing tag with you. And a claw is gonna shoot through the darkness and try and get you. And we'll do so. And the claw will tag you for
Ooh! Sharp claw.
14 slashing damage.
I'm gonna cutting words to damage.
Okay.
And
so clearly by 14 I meant.
I roll a d10 to do that. It's reduced by 7, so it takes 7 damage instead.
Yay. Thanks, Mordecai.
All right. So Mordecai, what are you shouting to Norallie here? To how do you want to?
shouting at Mr. Halvar.
I'm shouting at Mr.
Oh,
Halvar.
Mr. Halvar?
Do not touch her!
His claw kind of it's launching out, and you shout that, and it seems to clench back in a moment, but still, like 2 of his talons end up scratching her side. All right. This is definitely if you've seen Aliens, a Ripley moment towards the end of the movie. She has a very classic line that that I just thought about. All right, so that was anything else from you, Norallie? You have to concentrate on your haste, don't you?
Yeah.
Yes, you do have to roll a concentration
So
check.
it's
I don't have
you only took
It's
7.
DC 10. It's DC 10, I'm sure you can beat it.
10 plus.
No, it's just DC 10. It's 10 or half the damage for Javen's higher.
Yeah, 55% chance to succeed.
Actually.
It's a bit more than that.
Well, on a straight up roll, but yeah, that's
Yeah, on a straight up roll, yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm good,
That's
I'm good.
death saving throws is 55%.
I'm good right now.
Did
So
you
you
get
made
your
it.
Constitution saving throw?
Yeah, did you make the con save?
For what?
For concentration,
You
did you attack?
because you took damage from the claw, so you have to see if you can keep haste up, and so you're looking
Yeah,
for a
it's a DC,
10 or
DC
greater.
10. Oh!
Hold on.
She's gonna
Well,
change that die
there
roll.
is a thing that she can do.
Tides of
Yep.
Chouse.
Next time I cast a spell, I have to roll on the wild magic.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Okay.
Tides of Chaos, so yeah, no, she'll pass that then.
All right. So, Norallie, this claw. There's this weird interaction. Magic is flying. You cast darkness. You try and get away. This kind of magic, whatever. Cutting words is kind of magical. Kind of. Yeah, we could take it whichever way. And then
Distraction.
you go
I'm a
and
distracting figure.
and you get tagged, and you feel your mind starting to slip, but inside your body where this magic is held and contained, you tell the magic to make it say no. I will not. You impose your reality on yourself, and yourself responds, and you keep your concentration, and you feel this static building up in your body as reality is bending itself to your will, Norallie. You're not just crackling with sparks of electricity, you're crackling with the raw stuff of magic. The primal essence is surging through you right now. Your crystal is glowing and pulsing, probably along with your heartbeat. Jacob, what do? You're kind of restrained, kind of not. I mean, just roleplay with it.
Yeah. It's at this point. It's at this point. There is a sound of a heavy impact as this aegis of ice and hair just kind of splits in two and falls and crashes, revealing the standing figure in this mass of hair as Jacob kind of stands with his sword drawn, looking across. He's seen where the darkness came through, though you may not be able to see Mr. Halvar. He knows he's in there.
He's in there somewhere.
Mr. Halvar! Don't start what you can't finish!
Just going the shit out of it.
Okay.
You seem to be under the impression you're finished with your food, and your food is not finished with you!
I love him so much.
And it's at this point Jacob starts to move, and let's see, can I do this? Now I'm no longer under haste because darkness is up, correct?
Darkness.
Actually,
Actually,
you would be stunned this turn.
Darkness is...
Darkness is concentration.
Let me have a look.
Concentration along with haste.
Let me. I will have it. The one thing that needs to be checked to see is if the darkness given by the once per day is concentration or not, because it's not cast in the normal way.
Of course it
It
is.
is.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's cast
Well,
as
in that case,
Only items get you out of concentration. Just because it's an innate spell, that doesn't do anything.
With
even
with that, Jacob, you could still stand and say those words. I mean, it's so mechanical. It's stunned because of the fatigue from the energy. But you can still, like, if you want to reflavor and be like you're kind of leaning against one of the ice crags, kind of, that rush of energy's gone. You're kind of coming down, but you can still find the power, at least in your lungs, to shout those words at Mr. Halvar in the darkness.
it's not a mechanical stun. I just believe it's like you can't take actions or reactions.
Yeah.
And so I am currently stunned, so I can't take actions or reactions, right?
Let me have a
Actions
look.
are... It's move or take actions. Reactions are okay. It's not actually stun. It's a special effect that haste does.
Close, yeah, I guess.
It's fatigue, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. For one round.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Okay.
So you got a bonus
On
action,
Noralie's
something?
Next turn, you're good.
I do
Yeah,
have a
bonus
bonus
actions
action,
would
but not one that I think I would like to apply here.
That's a,
No,
Oh.
there's none that I would prefer to end up using at this point.
Okay.
you'll get the ability to move and take actions back after your turn ends, because it's until after its next turn.
All right.
So as soon as your turn ends, you will get the ability. You will recharge with some energy and be good to go from there.
Bright, then we move to you.
Come on.
I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use Mold Earth again to dig myself out of this hole that I just dug. Earth is not a verbal component spell, by the way. Just in case you were wondering. Yeah. I don't have to do that. So I'll get out and I'll look around and say, "Hey, good job, guys! You got rid of the dragon."
He's still there.
Oh. Okay. Well then, in that case,
Point and
Jacob?
shoot, Bright. Point and shoot.
Jacob, are you okay? I can't see anything.
Move to the hair.
The hair. Okay. I'm not gonna go in the hair. I'm just gonna stand behind the hair. Right
Oh,
now.
you want to be in the hair, I assure you.
Sure about that.
It kind of, as you move, you kind of just see like little bits of the hair currently like coming out of the ground, out of the mess, currently interweaving with the skin. Like you want to be up in the hair.
Yeah. Good with next to the hair right now. Okay. I don't think I have anything else to do.
Okay.
Since I don't even see the dragon. Sorry, this was a dead turn. Sorry, guys. I'll be back
You want
next
to
turn.
dodge in case something happens?
Oh no, I used my action on Mulder.
Oh, derp. That's right. Yeah. All right. So Bright is moving into a position behind the pile of ice and hair. We
my
now
gargoyle, so
we
can
now
I do
come down
that?
to Mordecai.
Oh, here.
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Gargoyle moving.
Oh, gargoyle. Derp. That's right.
So, as a point of order, I am going to cast Aura of Vitality on myself.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's centered on myself, and I am going to give Norallie those 5 hit points.
Okay.
So I'm going to run away, actually.
Are you... That magic wants out. Are you going to let it out?
Can I roll for it?
You can, yeah. It's a it's a spell above.
It's a D20.
Actually, I think I just want to let it go.
Then give me a D101 then.
All right. Oh, that's
I don't want to know what the 101st one is.
I mean, I kind of want to know.
It's a fireball cast at level 27.
A 30.
Ooh!
You teleport up to a 60 feet in an unoccupied space of your choice that you can see.
I'm going right there.
You may bring Norallie with you if you wish, because your spell interlinked with her. And she's also kind of a magical lodestone right now.
Yeah, let's do that.
Zoom. Zoom. Yep, she can teleport next to you if you want her to be.
Yep.
That's a good place to be.
Okay.
Concentrate on that. Cool. Bonus action. Do I see that Jacob is standing and unharmed, or at least?
Jacob,
Nice.
he bellowed very mightily. Seeing him is going to be difficult because there's all this kind of like wavy crystalline refraction and everything, and there's also these black hairs, like black veins, going through this spiky ice sculpture. So seeing him is debatable. He definitely sounded mighty when he shouted.
I can't remember if Bardic Inspiration requires me to see them. They just have to hear me.
Yeah, I believe it's just here. I can very quickly check that for you though.
I can hear you. Okay, yeah. Creature only requires them to hear me, not actually be visible to me. So,
Yep.
I am going to inspire Jacob. I now have my violin out, and I'm playing a little bit of a song.
Okay.
So yeah, a song is starting to be played by a violinist about 10 feet away from you, Jacob. You were inspired.
Fantastic. I work better to music.
Let's do this.
Celine, you're there. The dragon has been consumed in darkness. You do have this gargoyle that's also kind of hanging out in the open with you here. What are you doing?
Yeah, no, I see it. Give me a second. I just need to check something. Alright, oh, wonderful. That works just fine. So I'm gonna move.
Sure.
I'm gonna move to here. As a bonus action, I am going casting spiritual weapon, which is gonna miss. It'll be right on top of Mr. Halvar too.
Sure.
It's just in an area that I can see, an area that I know to exist. I don't necessarily have to see the space in which I put the spiritual weapon.
Okay.
It's gonna miss though, so let's not worry about that.
Yep, some hair's
But
gonna
it's
go
there.
and block the...
Yep. But as my action, I am going to cast Chill Touch on him, because it's just a space of a creature that I know to exist. Don't have to see the space, just have to know it's there. So
A 25 is going to hit.
Yep. So as this happens, Mr. Halvar will hear the darkness is no escape. A scythe with a spectral scythe would swing through the darkness, being blocked, and then the shade that appeared above Celine will appear once more before him, striking him again, and dealing 13 points of necrotic damage. He is not able to heal until his he is also unable to regain hit points until the start of my next turn,
Very well.
as the shade has grasped him so.
Alright, anything else from you, Celine?
Nope, that was my movement, that was my action, that was my bonus action, that's me.
Alright. Mr. Halvar's turn.
Mr. Halvar will not be able to see me, thank God.
Hiding. You can't hide. You can't escape the inevitable. The wheels turn. There's an order to all things. And the eyes are just piercing this this magical darkness. As he takes to the skies. Also, while I'm doing this. Okay.
Oh, thank God it didn't! Saving grace! Saving grace! Saving grace!
He is going to take to the skies and do a little bit of flying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 25. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70. Is flying overhead, sees, is looking down into this mix where we have Norallie and Mordecai are kind of huddled together, and Jacob is kind of like leaning against one of these like ice formations, a bit of a huff or at least a little glint of sweat, and does see Bright kind of hanging out behind the pile here, and lands.
Oh, there's the dragon.
Yeah, it lands like a shadow overtakes, phoo, and then just like this wave of sand just goes over you, Bright. And
It's okay. I've been under sand before.
yeah, that's true. You're probably not getting too much more dusty or dirty here. And it's going to smile. You think you know it all. You've only started to know the beginnings. And bite claw.
Okay.
The claw will be a 15, and the first claw will be a 15. The second claw is a oh no, that's much higher. That's a 24. But do you have any remedies against this, or?
What's
Honestly,
the total on the 11?
I think they're plus 13, so that would be a 24. Right?
Yeah, they are plus 13s. Yeah.
Okay, so the 15 misses, and I can't really do anything about the others.
Okay. Well, you said the 15 misses?
15
Yeah,
doesn't hit me.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so we're gonna do the bite. As he's leaning in, and in that last part of the resonance in his voice, Bright, that sounded really familiar. Now, it didn't sound like you know Mr. Halvar's voice. I mean, you've lived with him for a little bit now. There's something like a sub sound, like a slightly out of tune, half a second behind everything that he said physically, and that resonance, that minuscule echo from somewhere, sends an eerie chill up your spine. Now, the bite might do the same, but the bite's going to be 10 damage. I minned out.
That's not so bad.
Oh.
Fit neatly between his teeth.
Yeah,
They don't really do that
you like
much.
you turn sideways and it's still getting you, but unfortunately that dress isn't looking too good.
And they need amending after this battle.
Then as you turn sideways, he kind of comes down, but over, like, it's too close and his own snoot gets in the way, and then
Not
he
cutting
comes
marks of
back over.
damage.
Okay.
That was-
A min for a min. All right. So instead of 22 points of damage, it's 21. As claws pierce you, just they reach down and almost like grind you into the sand with one of the talons. Just like, kind of cutting down, like a lock of your hair falls, and you have a gouge across your neck as well. As it, not mechanically, but it kind of has you like pinned to the sand.
Please don't cut my hair. Gnomish hair only grows 1 inch every 10 years. Is that 21 damage?
Yes, 21 damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 31 all up.
I minned out on them cutting words.
Was it 21 or 31?
20.
So the bite was 10, the claw was
Oh,
21.
so total
Yeah.
of 31.
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
Are you
Ow.
still up?
Oh yeah, I'm fine.
Okay. Oh, you're
Actually,
fine.
before
Well,
Oh, now, but I was.
okay. So we you have this odd discordance, and Mr. Halvar, you all are watching. Poor Bright is being savaged here by Mr. Halvar, and even Mordecai going, "Hey," doesn't seem to do too much. Norallie, what are you doing?
That's about as effective as it was, yeah.
I mean, you got to have that moment, Mordecai, where you're like, "Hey, you, get your damn hands off her," and you gotta punch Biff out back in the 50s. All right, so we're back up to Norallie. What are you doing here? Bright is getting savaged. You're kind of in this crystalline, reflective thing of ice and black hair.
I can see Mr. Halvar, right?
Yeah, you can.
Big jerk! He's gonna need to make a wisdom save. Gonna slow him down.
All right. So you call him, you call him a big jerk, and Mr. and the eyes go from green for a moment to Mr. Halvar's tiefling eyes, like they kind of blink out, and he looks down at you, Norallie, and you see the green and the hair just sort of flow back over. No, I reject you. And this is the second time he's done this, but he just ignores.
No.
He just ignores this.
Yeah.
Now,
Resistance.
Second one.
you
But it's
Just
burned.
burning them.
I need
It's
you
burned.
to roll a D101, however, because this is the next spell after you used your what's-a-ma thingy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so
we
the
just-
magic
we
is
just
going
need
to happen.
We just need to burn through his legendary resistances.
All right, Norallie. An eye appears on your forehead for the next minute. During that time, you have advantage on perception checks that rely on sight. I want you to describe what this third eye looks like, and if you don't want it on your forehead, I mean, do you want it to like pop out of the cut on your hand? Do you want it to be like a little eye stalk on one of your horns? How would you like this to manifest? This is your eye.
Forehead's fine. It's just gonna look like her tiefling eyes. It's gonna be blue.
All right, so another blue eye. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is it right in the middle? You have it offset, or?
Yeah, right in the middle.
Okay.
Like where it's going like up and down.
Sure.
That is. Yeah, I'm gonna run over here now.
Okay. So Celine, you see Norallie. You see Norallie running at you, and she has a third eye on her forehead. She's running in your direction.
Not the weirdest thing I've seen today, so it's fine. So just it's a question. The ruins of the shack, are they difficult terrain?
Yes. The
Okay.
in the back portion. Let me.
So if I was to run through like this portion, say.
There you go.
So if I was to
The
so if
orange
I was to
triangles are
run
difficult.
through- Yeah, so if I was to run through here, that'd be fine.
Well, the wall
Yeah, there's a
the
wall.
wall is kind of still up. You'd have to go around through one square of difficult terrain back here because the walls are still up here. The front portion is still up.
Alright, so I'd have to go through. Alright.
You can
yeah,
go
'cause
through
I'm
the
just
front
trying to-
door here, and you can kind of see out because the walls in the back are down. You could, well, I don't know, from this square, you can kind of see Mr. Halvar through the jags of ice, but I would give him, I'd give him some cover because you're shooting through these strands.
Oh, no, I'm aiming to get into melee.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Okay, yeah, I see a way in which I can do it. Alright, so, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go 5, 15, 25, up to here.
I would say this is a hard corner because it's a wall. It's not a round tree trunk. So if you
it's a
move here,
hard
that's
corner,
5,
but I
and
was-
then this is going to have to be 10. Because this is going to be a hard corner. It's a solid flat wall with a 90-degree, like shorn off area there.
Okay. How am I gonna do this?
Do not have any ranged spells right now.
I do, but they're not the most optimal options. Oh, actually, I do know what I could do.
You can get it here and then range. At least for this
What?
one.
Yeah,
Also,
but it's,
I moved Herbert
fine.
to be your spiritual weapon, so you're going to want to let me know where you're moving that.
Yeah, bonus... Yeah, no, actually, bonus action, I am going to spend another 3rd level spell slot.
Okay.
And I'm gonna resummon the spiritual weapon on top of Mr. Halvar.
Sure.
And it's gonna make an attack.
Okay.
Will a 25 hit?
Yes. I'm putting it next to him. If you want it on top, that's fine. I'm putting it on next to him so we know that he's there.
That's fine. But it's gonna be on top. So take the attack. It'll be 8 points of force damage on that one.
Okay.
And I'm going to attempt to... He will then hear the dolorous sound of the death bell as I'm going to toll the dead him. Wisdom save, please.
All right.
Wow, that was really bad on 2d12.
Plus, 1 second. There we go. Okay. 21.
Damn it. Alright, so that'll do nothing.
Just this boom, and it's reverberating through the ice, kind of making distorted noises.
Yep, no, that, I'm gonna just move down here, and that'll be me.
Wait, so we had...
We had Norallie, then we had Celine.
Wait,
well,
Norallie then Celine.
wait, no, hold on, what? Oh,
Oh,
Because it's Norallie then Jacob, right?
okay.
well, yeah, no, Jacob, Brent, and Mordecai will do that thing first.
Yeah.
Before that happens.
Yeah, we'll still keep that, but yeah, after Norallie should be Jacob.
Jacob.
Jacob, what are you doing? You're
I see Bright in trouble,
yes.
and I can't allow the little pretty one to end up
Not
going
in
no
that
matter
much
how-
trouble. Do whatever you went in there to do. I've been waiting forever.
Do you really want to save her now? Like,
I don't think he understands. He says there is an order to everything, and he's correct. And that is me, for I am law and order.
Don't forget you're inspired.
Yeah. I'm gonna guess neither of them hit.
correct. The hair comes out and it wraps. You got to rip the warhammer
I'm
back.
gonna use the inspiration D8,
D10.
D10.
D10 on the 15. So there's a 19 to it.
Yes, you push through. You know, it tries to resist, and you just you force that hammer down into the
slow.
into the structure.
That didn't affect him, remember?
Didn't it?
Darn.
No,
Because he...
Oh,
was
the
here-
other-
he replaced reality.
Never mind then.
It's 11 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
I'm not the DPS of this group.
So you are the tank. And a good tank you are.
Please, I'm a terrible tank. You guys have been getting butchered.
Bright,
Yeah?
it's your go.
Oh. Okay. So the thing is, I don't really have that many spells left. It's been a bad run. But I guess I can say, I don't know. Crinkle. Yeah. I don't really have that much. I guess I'll just cast a fireball.
Okay.
Yeah, burn his legendary.
And I'll put it where it won't burn us up, but it will burn him up.
Yep.
And
That's
that'll
fine.
do. Oh, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good, yeah.
So he's gonna take 16 fire.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna go ahead and move the wall of hair, and I'll stand over there. And then I'm gonna also use my gargoyle. And he's gonna come and he's gonna fly above Mr. Halvar
Okay.
and attack him from above.
Sure.
And miss him from above.
Okay.
Which I keep forgetting what his rolls are. Page 141. I'm so bad at this. This isn't even right. It's not on this page. Let's just roll a couple of d20s and see if they
Sure.
look good.
Hey.
Oh, that's a crit.
That one does.
That's a crit.
Hey,
Oh, good
And that's a 22.
it's okay.
So now you have to look it up. Aha! I got you. Making you squirm in the seat. Not that you're hoping for a miss, but it would have been more convenient.
Okay, so they're both d6 plus 2, and oh, that's Derek. Nice.
So yeah,
okay.
the gargoyle figures out, I gotta be flying, and just like absolutely just rakes its claws like down and
Okay.
through the hair.
Okay, so the 22 hits.
Yep.
Okay, so the first one will be for the crit,
Yep.
and for the regular one. So that'll be 18 damage, piercing
Okay.
and slashing.
Got it. Now we come to Mordecai.
Who looks the bloodiest right now?
Probably me.
I'm at half,
I have 25.
but I don't have any
52.
of a gargoyle, who's not very effective.
I'm at half.
Okay.
I am currently at just over 2/3.
Okay. Then 2d6 is going to Norallie from Aura Vitality. And then I am going to. I'm gonna cure wounds bright.
Oh, thank you.
I'm gonna cast it at a 4th level.
Ooh,
That's. I don't need those many hit points.
you're getting hit with the good stuff.
Eh, I have
Mordecai,
two-
are you letting it ride?
Can I move before I do?
It happens on your cast, so...
Oh, I guess so, huh? I'm gonna
It's
try
okay.
and finish.
I've been fireballed before.
Okay, then I'll just let it go.
Sure. 101, please.
55.
A 25. An eye appears on your forehead. For the next
Oh,
minute.
good. We're growing eyeballs everywhere.
So I guess we'll say that kind of like a stormy blue Norallie eye opens up on your forehead.
It's solid blue, where mine are irises
Yeah.
and pupils.
Yeah. You got a Norallie eye. Hmm.
A Norl eye.
A Norallie.
I was about to say.
Hey, but
I was waiting to get this like the Nora eye.
Alright, and that'll do it for my turn, because I'm not moving.
Okay. You are extra perceptive. This is a state that almost is simulating when you were on Lucifrus, just by having more senses open, because you not that it makes you hear better, but you can see better. You're more observant. You're keener on things that are happening around you, Mordecai.
As if I wasn't keen enough.
Yeah.
Alright.
All right, Celine, you took your turn as
Yes,
such,
okay.
and we now
Okay,
come to
ma'am.
Mr. Halvar. You don't understand, and he yells this, and some blood is like flecking out of his mouth, as you're seeing that blood is dripping through the black hair. You don't see that, but when it hits the sand, it just starts almost like leaching into the sand around. You don't understand what you must do. And once more, Jacob leans in, and just those eyes again are piercing you, looking at you, saying something, but you can't tell. But they're the eyes of someone who needs something.
Would I be able to make a investigation roll? Maybe there's something I'm missing here.
You could do an insight on your turn as an action, and and if you do, I mean, and if you do a decent job, of course I will give you a juicy tidbit that's worth an action.
Okay.
But this would be you have to turn over things, and you're in the heat of combat, so this won't be just a passive pickup. So it's a risk or reward to you. You can swing your hammer or do something else, or you can spend an action to make an insight, to read emotion
we'll
and to
end up
read.
using. Yeah. Okay. Let's see what he does.
First things first. Okay. must I do to make you understand? Jacob, you can get an attack of opportunity as Mr. Halvar is going to... Mr. Halvar is going to start moving away from you around the house.
Yeah, I cannot allow him to end up leaving here, unless they're causing a threat to the civilian populace that's currently around me.
21 will hit. Actually, he's gonna, like, leap up and crash down.
So the gargoyle is in his way. He's going to have to push the gargoyle out of the way.
I mean, if he flies up and flies over, then.
Okay.
Oh,
Is there?
yeah, no, he will.
So this is several size categories larger.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm not sure if that's an auto pass or what's going to happen
It
if
is.
our gargantuan creature is pushing past a small.
Yeah, no, it would be.
Medium.
It's medium. I don't know if that makes a difference. I've never had to rule on that before in 5th ed.
Yeah, it's more than 2 size categories larger.
Okay.
Would that still be an opportunity attack for the gargoyle?
It would be an
It would
opportunity.
be,
Yeah, he's
yes.
gonna get an opportunity.
Yep.
Yeah,
so
get the
so
body attack.
the gargoyle's gonna get kind of knocked from the sky, but it's gonna try and
Me too, Derek. Me too.
as Mr. Halvar just like throws an elbow and
Yeah, he
Okay.
missed. Did this?
all right, comes crashing down on the front of the house. The whole house is now just splinters and kindling in the works here, and why haven't you learned, Norallie? Yeah. Well, I don't know. 21, 15, 19?
Cutting words.
15 does not.
Okay.
Is that to Norallie?
I'm
Yeah,
cutting words
this is to Norallie.
Okay.
All right, you're going to cutting words?
for 7.
All right, so it would be a 14. Does 14 hit you?
14 does not. My AC is 16 right now.
Okay. So lands and shouts, and as he does, Norallie, he goes to bite, and you hear Mordecai shout something from your side.
A lot of people are shouting right now.
Do not touch her.
Including you, Norallie. You're magically compelled to shout.
Yep.
He glances over and just stares into the face of Mordecai, who even this third eye is just glaring all the same. The other claw comes down, and you nimbly just jump out of the way of this other attack, and then the last claw just comes down and slashes at you, mingling a bit of your blood with Bright's that was still on that claw. $16 points of piercing? Slashing? I don't know if it makes a difference for you. 1 second.
I believe it is piercing, if it's a bite.
Pierce. Oh, the bite miss. Claw's slashing damage.
Yeah, core slash damage. Yeah.
You're going to have to use it, Norallie. And Norallie, it's up to you. As we are now in round 11 of this combat, what are you doing?
Maybe I haven't learned because you're a bad teacher. I'm slowing him down again.
Okay.
Yes!
This
Yes.
is another
Yes.
wisdom slash
Wisdom save.
20 plus 6.
That'll pass.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fool. Anything else? Oh, also, are you letting a chaos effect take place, or are you
Yep.
gonna try and shut the door?
I'm gonna let it. Sorry, Celine, you should have moved.
Shouting, you're channeling your energy through your magic, and a 21 takes place. Creatures have disadvantage on saving throws against the next spell you cast in the next minute that involves a saving throw.
Yes!
That's pretty good.
Subjective to
Just
Norallie,
what we needed.
your magic manifests and something it does, but in a different way, and just you're imposing your desires through magic onto reality, and you see that Mr. Halvar kind of like there's this mirroring kind of ripple as he fights through whatever you just did to him, which is magic, but it's not magic. This is the pure desire of Norallie, of this pure-hearted girl. And so he's going to get auto disadvantage on the next thing that you cast that requires a saving throw. All right, Jacob, we're back to you. You see Norallie go up and redress him, waggle her finger, and he kind of ripples in response. What are you doing now? Are you wheeling around the house to attack?
I suppose if I am going to end up taking the difficulty. And you said this is all rubble at this point, correct?
All of the house is difficult terrain. Yeah, it's planks and splinters and nails and debris.
So to double check, 15 put me right there.
Yeah,
That's
so
as far
that'd
as
be
I can
30
go.
feet.
Do you have a thrown weapon option?
You would be in melee with him, though.
Heather.
I actually have a different option. Now that I have now that I've made contact.
Mm-hmm.
So it's at this point, Jacob realizes that this house is crumbling. There's no way for him to get close enough to protect Norallie, and it's very clear. There's something in his head telling him that Norallie is who he needs to end up keeping in contact right now. So, and it's almost like to him, he needs to be there, and so he's suddenly there. What it seems to be is almost like his entire body just kind of falls, like it just suddenly goes black and goes into tiny strands, disappears, and suddenly those same hairs seem to manifest right beside Norallie in a quick torrent, and suddenly Jacob is standing right beside you.
Ah.
Ooh! Yeah!
And it's at this point I am going to make my attacks.
Both of them hit. You manifest in this eruption of silky black hair right next to Norallie, and just your warhammer contacts both times.
I really didn't want to use that, but not the spell. I didn't want to use the action to attack, but at this point I don't need, like, too close to Norallie, gotta protect the kid.
And as you do, just right across the maw, as he was trying to snap at Norallie, you I guess you fuzzy step over to her, or hairy step, or whatever you want to call it.
I said your food was not done playing with you, Mr. Halvar.
And just more blood just starts seeping down, and it's bubbling as he's huffing. Use your gifts, and both of you. I mean, Celine, you're getting a little bit of it too, but primarily Norallie with a more on Jacob are just like splattered in blood as he's telling you both the same thing. Or to whom is he really speaking? Anything else from you, Jacob, or are we gonna go to Bright?
The bonus. No, we're going to Bright at this point.
Okay.
He needs to end up keeping. He just looks to hit Norallie. It's, do not move out of my reach. Whatever you do, do not move out of my reach.
Bright, what are you doing?
Hey, I think it's time for another fireball.
Okay.
Got left. And I'll just put it, in the obvious place over here, or something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
To avoid us so that we don't get cooked.
That was poop damage.
That is awfully
okay.
polite. Bright isn't
Still have
always
to-
so nice.
You still have to roll that save.
15? Oh no.
Gotta fail.
You failed.
Okay. For 21 fire damage. And there's a flash in the sky, and Mr. Halvar screams and wobbles. Blood from several wounds. The smell of burnt hair, even with the sea breeze gently blowing at it. The smell of burnt hair, of tarnished silver scales. Falls down to, well, the equivalent of dragon knees.
Dragons still have knees.
I am released. But there's one. I'm sorry, still should be talking to you with this. The eyes are kind of clouding over. One more. And he falls just into a heap. And as he does, the green fades from his eyes. The green fades from his eyes, and he's just sort of looking, staring, Norallie, at you with unblinking eyes as the sound of the waves return. And bit by bit, the clumps of black hair begin to fall out from between his scales.
I want to come over here
Mm-hmm.
and I want to take a piece of hair, but I also want to go up to his head and see if he's going to be okay. I don't want him to die. I just want him to stop trying to kill us for a minute.
Medicine?
Okay, I'll do that.
Not that you're intimately familiar with dragon physiology, but he doesn't seem to be breathing. And his eyes are still unblinking.
Celine.
Aura vitality. He's in my aura.
Okay. Your aura is bathing over Mr. Halvar.
Could I do a medicine check?
Sure.
Because if anyone would be more intimate with that, it would be me.
Or not.
In your professional opinion, in this moment, Mr. Halvar, the dragon, appears to be dead.
At this point, Jacob feels a sense of remorse. Thinks back upon the words, cursing himself for not taking a moment sooner. Maybe if you piece something together, you might have been able to prevent this, but no. What was he trying to communicate? What was it trying to communicate? User. What was he referring to? Like we were holding something back?
I just go up to Norallie and I give her a hug.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled her. I don't say anything. I just hold her.
Jacob, as you are not in combat, and this would be more about you examining evidence than necessarily, unless you're trying to read emotion through insight, you can roll an investigation to see if you can piece some things together. 24, okay, so you get a couple clues. The two tieflings are hugging. Celine, you're checking. That only takes a moment. Bright is doing the same here. Mr. Halvar seems to have great importance to Norallie. And he addressed her. But he was also addressing you. But this wasn't Mr. Halvar, or at least not what attacked you was Mr. Halvar.
Possession of some sort.
Whatever this hair is, as it fell out upon death. And so Mr. Halvar knows, I guess, that Norallie might have some kind of something. He wanted her to do something to somehow be or act or whatever. And there's a connection with you in so much that this green-eyed entity, this green-eyed monster, looked at you as well, and you swore could have been telling you to use your gifts. And you did. You did something you'd never done before. You vanished and you reappeared.
But that wasn't me.
And the last words, Mr. Halvar said there was something else. One more something. Mordecai, how long does your aura of vitality stay up?
It lasts a minute. It's gone by now.
Okay, well, if you need to apply more healing, because how many rounds have you had it up?
I wasn't keeping track.
I could scroll back.
3 or 4, I think.
Yeah, 3 or 4. So you've got 6 uses of 2d6.
Okay.
If you want to distribute, we'll say 6 uses of that. You can distribute that.
Don't need any.
Whoever wants
That's
it.
extremely average.
Yeah, I'll
6, 6, 6, 7, 7, 7. That is average.
Yeah.
6.5.
Yeah.
I'll take I'll take maybe like.
You take the first 2, Celine.
What am I at? 44.
I'm at 19.
Yeah, the first 2.
And then second 2 are Jacob, and then third 2 are Norallie.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Silverleaf. And my condolences to you, little Norallie. Kind of looks, and he just kind of starts to examine the body.
Okay.
Not plundering. He's just trying to get a better understanding of what he's dealing with. Never seen a dragon before in his life.
This is fairy tale stuff.
It is. And yet here is evidence, so that's at least one confirmation. Unless he's going mad. But he looks over it. And if he was possessed, starts to speak. Something was taking control. Something wants to test. Test for what?
I think I know.
What is your speculation, priestess?
We have come into contact with a being beyond comprehension. It is hard to explain. If you would join us, then I would be more than happy to sit down and explain to you what it is we have encountered and what it
It is
means.
an extremely long story.
It is an exceptionally long story. But there are two things that I would like to do first. First, we must, and I know that most of you might not like what I'm going to suggest. But first, we must take, and then we will give him a proper burial. Here,
What do you mean? What do you mean, take?
I mean take of him.
Why?
Take what?
Allow me to explain to you something of my belief. You do not have to believe me or agree, but it is the belief that when someone of importance dies, you take parts of them, whether it be blood or, in this case, scales or
Absolutely
talons.
not.
Let me finish.
I don't think I need to finish. What you were
No.
talking about is the desecration of a corpse. One who you were more than willing to share a meal with not more than a few moments ago.
Allow me to explain to you something, Jacob, if I may. This being has taken from us more than you know.
What has Mr.
Norallie, I
Halvar
get-
ever done to us, Celine?
That is not. It's not Mr. Halvar I'm talking about, Mordecai. It's what I believe possessed him.
So you would punish a victim of the crime?
Not at all.
Because that's exactly what you are describing.
No, that is not what I'm describing. If you would let me finish.
We're not
What I
doing
am
it.
What I am describing is this.
Celine, it doesn't matter. Norallie has spoken. It's not happening.
Miss Norallie, what is your relation to Mr. Halvar?
He took me and my brother in.
So you are considered next of kin, yes?
I guess so.
Then,
I
it
mean-
is then it is the right of the next of kin to decide what is done with the body. Or would you end up having me end up here saying that the rule of law is overturned by a simple belief and that they are simply guidelines?
You, dear sir, can believe whatever it is you wish. It's not my job to proselytize, as it were.
It seems to be exactly what you're doing, and it seems also that you have absolutely no want or consideration of the law, which you have demonstrated not once but twice now in my presence.
On that one, I'm allow you to think whatever it is that you will.
That's not a thought, that is a fact, my dear.
That is that is a thought. The fact that you state that is a fact is a thought.
Destruction of property and wishing to desecrate a corpse against the wishes of the next of kin. These are illegal.
Desecration of a corpse. Tell me, what defines desecration of a corpse, considering you know? Considering that, that matters of the dead are left to the dominion of those who oversee them.
Norallie,
They still
what are you doing
obey
during this
the
conversation?
law.
I'm just staring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still just holding her.
Okay.
Celine, whatever this on the removal of the side of your face is, whatever this, that ghastly bit upon you is, might end up unnerving somebody. I certainly don't claim to be immune to its effect, but your claim is that of a religious basis and not one of written law.
Tell me, so do you know how much say from the church goes into written law?
I am quite aware on the fact that the worship of Wheat Jazz is heavily speculated and is heard as a taken into advisement, but is not the decree. And as stated, falls to Norallie. And before she even has a moment to grieve, you are talking about desecrating the corpse of that which is the next of kin. So pardon me if I feel that that is a little heartless.
Again, that is not what I state.
That is exactly stated.
No, no, it is not.
Phrased as
It is... Simply put.
Celine, you have no idea what mesomasculine law is. You are not from here.
That aside, Mordecai, the point
No,
that I
you
think
take
Because
trying...
we're not doing it. So stop
point that-
arguing. We're not going to do it. None of us agree with you.
I pull Celine aside. I am taking her, and I am taking her by the arm, and I am pulling her aside.
Okay.
Really? Really?
Well, if you would let me finish...
No, you are not. You are finished. Here.
No. The thing is this, Mordecai. Shonaruth has taken from all of us. Norallie especially.
That is not Shonaruth.
Are you
That is a dragon who was possessed, yes, by threads of things we don't know. That is...
By threads of things that we don't know, and yet shows the exact calling card.
It doesn't matter, Celine. It really
Of course
doesn't matter.
Does.
It
Of
really
course it
doesn't
does.
matter. No, it doesn't.
It does. My thought is this, Mordecai. He was taken from us. And my thought is that
What is taking scales and taking claws and taking teeth or whatever it is the fuck that you want?
but there's the apple.
What does that have to do with anything with Shonaruth? This thing might not even be real. Celine, have you thought of that?
My thought, Mordecai, is this. That we take that which is taken from us, and fashion it into... How do I put this?
No.
Something of vengeance. Something...
You can be a tool of vengeance all you want. I don't want any part of it. And I walk away.
Then what we're going to do here is let's get up and take a break, because the DM's got to take a break. And when we come back...
I need a drink.
That's fine. Hey. Oh, shoot. I've had a picture of... I've been so into this. I have a pitcher of drink over here, and I've hardly been touching it. All right, but we're going to come back in 10 minutes, get a snack, a drink, do whatever metabolic functions you humans have. I know that might be a presumption, but when we come back, we're going to find out what happens to Mr. Halvar, and or his or its remains. And you do have Gathering of Nerds tonight, right? Lethality?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
Gotcha. So we'll come back and we'll have an hour and a half to see what happens. All right. So for all of you in the audience, thank you for being here, and we'll be back soon.